Hey, Humud, how's it going? Hey,
Hey,
Humud, how's
how
it
are you?
going?
What's
Good,
good?
good,
What's up?
good. Great, great, great. Fantastic.
Good.
Good to good to see you again, then.
Good to see you too.
Let's see who else is here. Hey, awesome. Hey, Jacqueline, how's it going?
Hi, everybody.
Welcome.
Hey, Jacqueline. I believe this is your first time in my class. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, first timer.
Fantastic. Where are you from?
I'm from the Philippines.
Philippines. Nice, nice. That's really cool. Um, how long have you been on Colingo?
Just this morning.
Just this morning. Wow, fantastic. Welcome. It's great to see that. I know it's probably late evening in the Philippines right now, right?
Yeah, it's like 10 in the evening, but it's not that late.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, 10 in the evening is going to be. Yeah, we are 6 in the morning here.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm just 8 hours ahead. If you cross the Pacific, you'll find me in on on the West Coast. So, yeah,
All right.
that's awesome. And yeah, how do you like your first day?
Well, it's kind of nice. It's really good. I had sessions with Sikara. I forgot her name. I'm sorry. And then just a while back with Joe, and it was nice. I like the participants that I was with earlier,
Uh-huh.
and the experience was really nice. It's really more of an interactive training or like an education online in English, and
Yeah.
it's good.
Phenomenal, phenomenal. No, that's really awesome. The fact that you're here, and I think your English is really good already. And this class you joined an advanced class, so I think it's going to be right at the level that you want in order to get more of that, conversational experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I just wanted to give you a brief intro of me then, because I just interrogated you. Um, my name is Farhan. I live in the United States. I'm 24 years old. I'm in California now, but I actually live in Wisconsin, which is about, no one really knows where that is. Wisconsin is close to Chicago, so it's about 2 hours north of Chicago. But I would rather stay somewhere warm during the winter, so I just came to California. I just drove across the country a week ago and decided to be here with my friends. So, yeah.
Nice.
It's really cool, but yeah, I'm sure I'll get to learn a lot about the Philippines. I think you are actually my first Filipino student.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So you have a special place in that sense.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And let's see, we have a few other people. Hey, Rafael, how's it going, man?
Hi, what's up?
Good, good.
Perfect.
Not much.
Nice to be in the class.
Yesterday, Rafael, the internet connection was horrible in that second
I
class. I
am.
I
I
could
remember.
never get back. Humud, I think you were there also, right? So the
Yeah,
internet completely just destroyed like my experience because it just wasn't coming back.
don't worry
So
about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully we don't have that same issue today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe maybe your name is Mustafa. How are you?
Yes, hi, how are you?
Good, good, good. So I think Mustafa, I think this is your first time in my class as well. Where are you from?
Yes, yes, the first time. I'm from Jordan.
Jordan, awesome, fantastic. We have a lot of Jordanian students. It's great, it's great. And how long have you been studying on Colingo, Mustafa?
Actually, the voice is not very good. I cannot hear you
Uh-huh.
fine.
I was saying how long have you been studying on Colingo?
Sorry?
How long have you been studying on Colingo?
My first day, the second lesson.
Oh, wow, fantastic. So we have Jacqueline and Mustafa. You guys are both brand new then to Colingo. That's great.
You.
That's awesome. Well, welcome,
Uh-huh.
welcome. Uh, just to give you a
Thank
little
you.
back, just to give you a little background about me, Mustafa. I was just explaining it to Jacqueline. I'm 24. My name's Farhan. I'm 24,
Uh-huh.
and I live in the U.S. and I'm in California, but I live in Wisconsin. And actually, I forgot to tell you too, Jacqueline. I've been teaching on Colingo for about 3 months now. I started in, actually no, 4 months. I started in July, like end of July, so it's been about 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah, well, awesome guys. Welcome. I really appreciate it. Um,
Thank
so
you.
yeah, guys, awesome. And I'm actually really glad that we have a good number of people in this class. Usually this early in the morning here, it's like 6 a.m. here. I don't know what time it is in other parts of the world. I know in the Philippines it's 10 p.m. So that's kind of late, Jacqueline. 10 p.m. is when I start going to sleep. So that's kind of awesome for you too that you're here. Most everyone else I think is in the middle somewhere, maybe afternoon in the other countries like Jordan and Saudi Arabia and Spain. Uh, so it's good today that we have a group because we actually are going to focus on a class that is more thinking oriented than a lot of the other classes that we have. The grammar topic that we have for this class is really not a grammar topic. It's more a word organizational kind of class, right? Because in this class we're going to be looking at 4 different types of words that we have in English that are, at first glance, this stuff is actually really confusing, right? Even when you say the words that are being taught in this class, even when you're trying to figure out what is being said, that's confusing, right? So I want to take some time to go over some of these things, right, and make sure that we have an understanding. The second part of it that's important is that I actually find it very helpful, and students of mine have said in the past that for this class in particular, they like what I use to organize the class. I made a document that I used to kind of organize the main ideas from this class, and I've sent it to them in emails. I've emailed it to my students before, and they really appreciated that because it was something that they could use even later on, right? So if you guys are interested in that, if you guys would like to receive a copy of this document that I'm going to be using, feel free to just let me know. You can find me on Facebook, you can find me wherever, and I'll be more than happy to send that to you, right? So, any questions, guys, so far? Am I speaking like I'm a sleepy person? Did everyone understand?
No, all good.
All good? Awesome, Jacqueline. Thank you. I do that a lot too, Jacqueline. I ask a lot. Does anyone have any questions or whatever? And it's great to hear your responses because sometimes I'm the only one with the webcam, so it's hard to tell.
Okay. Perfect.
Fantastic. Thanks, Rafael. So guys, let's get started then. Okay, let's dive in. We have a good number of people. So today we're going to be looking at 2 things, right? The first aspect of the class is going to be looking at 4 categories of words, okay? Homophones, homonyms, homographs, and heteronyms, right? Just looking at the words in English is confusing, right? To be honest with you, before I began teaching, I didn't actually know what these words meant. I wasn't 100% sure. Homophones, homonyms, homographs, and heteronyms, right? Also, as I'm typing things, guys, you will find these messages that I'm typing under the Colingo chat window. So if you have when you have your Hangouts open, the button on the left that has Colingo on it, if you click that, you'll see all the stuff that I'm writing down, right? So homophones, homonyms, homographs, and heteronyms are just 4 categories of words in English. There's no verb conjugation in this class. We're not looking at verbs. We're not looking at, how do I say something in English? No, we're just looking at word groups, okay? And because this is an advanced class, right, I'll be moving at a much faster pace, right? I'll be speaking more, I'll be asking questions, and we're going to devote most of the time in the class to the discussion of the article. We're not going to spend too much time on this actual grammar piece, right? So to get started, guys, right, just to get started, just to get our minds thinking about what we're doing, right, I want to ask you guys, can you guys think of a few English words that sound the same but are spelled differently? Okay, they sound the same but they're spelled differently. Let's hear from Hamoud first, if you don't mind, Hamoud. Let's get started.
White.
So what's the first spelling of right?
No, no, not right. Sun and son.
Oh, okay, fantastic. So son, we have S-O-N, and we also have son, S-U-N, right? So one is a person's child, the other is the sun in the sky, right? Fantastic. Jacqueline, great job. Way and way, right? What's the first kind of way with the GH? What does that mean?
That means something that you can measure by not volume, but by heavy or how heavy it is, and then weigh like a
Yeah,
path.
by mass. Yeah,
Oh,
something that
yeah,
you're
there,
measuring
mass.
by mass. Fantastic. And what about the AY word? Way with the AY.
Like a path.
Yeah, a path to something, right? Exactly. I need to find my way, whatever the case might be, right? So we have many different types of examples like that, right? So way and way, that's also a really good example. Raphael, what about another example?
I don't know exactly what sounds similar, but I
But
can't
spelled
remember.
differently? Sounds similar or sounds the same, but spelled differently, right? So think about, let's say, maybe,
Meet.
yeah, fantastic, right? So the first meet is M-E-E-T, right? And the second one is M-E-A-T, right? So M-E-E-T, what does that one mean, Raphael? M-E-E-T.
Mm, meal from an animal and made to reunite or to join with others.
Absolutely, absolutely. So M-E-A-T is the same as what you eat, and M-E-E-T is when you are, it's a verb, it's when you're meeting with somebody. And yeah, Homo, you're absolutely right as well. Weight and weight, right? So we have W-E-I-G-H-T, which is the noun for what Jacqueline said, something that you measured the mass, and then W-A-I-T. And what does that one mean, Homo? The second one, W-A-I-T. Hamoud, are you there? Can you speak now, or is it a bad time?
Yes, I can speak,
Uh-huh.
but I couldn't realize the question.
Sure. No, I was just saying, what is
What it means?
WAIT, right? If I tell you, hey, Hamoud, wait for me, right? That's
Yes,
WAIT. Uh-huh.
yes.
Yeah, fantastic. So many times, guys, we see these examples in verbs and in nouns, right? So way and way, or meet and meet, right? We see these examples in verbs a lot when we're comparing them with nouns, right? So, hey, Ken, how's it going? Welcome to class.
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Good to see you. Ken, could you give us an example? We were just going over this with the others, but could you give us an example of a word that starts with, or that two words that are spelled differently but sound the same?
Meet, other,
They
other,
took all the good ones, didn't they? They took all the good ones. Now you have to
uh,
think more. Yeah.
and beer, not same
Uh,
spelling.
well, it doesn't have to be the same spelling. It just has to sound the same,
Mm,
right? So if they sound the same, so you said bear and bear,
yeah.
would that work? So for example, what's the first kind of bear? B-E-A-R.
For bear, one meaning of bear is the animal, big
Mm-hmm.
animal, and
Mm-hmm.
another meaning of bear is kind of how can I say hair in the face, on the face.
Yeah, for example, if you well, actually, I was thinking of something differently, Ken, actually. I was thinking B-A-R-E and B-E-A-R, right?
Okay,
So
to
what's
enter.
B-A-R-E is actually just like it's if something's empty, right? Like for
Uh-huh.
example, my face or like this land is very bare because there's nothing on it. Or for bare skin. People talk about their skin, bare skin, right? So that's B-A-R-E, and B-E-A-R is the animal, right?
Okay.
So yeah, all of these examples, guys, that we are thinking about, right? All of these examples fit into one or more of these categories of homophones, homonyms, homographs, and heteronyms, right? So let's take a look at what these four things are. And once again, I'm going to be referring to a document that I made that is not on the Colingo website or anything like that, right? So if you guys want this document, let me know. right? And I can share it with you. So I'm going to screen share very briefly, guys, and I'm going to show you guys this document that I made, right? So when we look at these words, right, there are four main categories that we saw. We saw homonyms, homographs, right? So homonyms up here, homographs, homophones, and also heteronyms, right? So the word homonym, right? If two words are homonyms, then they have the same pronunciation, but they have a different meaning, right? And then there are two categories of homonyms, right? So same pronunciation, different meaning. This is what we were saying just now. You guys all gave me examples of homonyms, right? Can and can, right? One is like a can of Coca-Cola. The second is I can do something, right? So it's a verb versus a noun, right? So one variety of homonyms have the same spelling, right? However, another variety of homonyms that have a different spelling, right? They are called homophones. They have a different word. They're called homophones, right? So for example, right versus right, you know? Same pronunciation, right? Same pronunciation, different meaning, right? But they also have a different spelling, right? So that's what makes homophones different from non-homophone homonyms, right? These guys are non-homophone homonyms. They're homonyms that are not homophones, right? So any questions, guys, about the top part of this diagram, looking at homonyms? Does it make sense to you guys? Just the top part.
Right.
Yeah.
It does. Okay, Raphael. Good, good. Jacqueline, does it make sense? Can you see the screen correctly?
Yes.
Okay. So now I want to actually ask you guys. I want to actually ask you guys for some examples, right? So we already looked at different spelling, you know, same pronunciation, different meaning, right? So we already looked at homophones. I want you guys to give me a 2-second example of a word that has same pronunciation, different meaning, but the same spelling, right? I just want one example from any one of you guys. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to go around the class. I just want one example. The first person that thinks of something, just say it, right? Same spelling, same pronunciation, but different meaning. What's another one? Think about nouns and verbs. Those are the best ways to start, right? I can think of one already, right? Think about some short words too. Yeah, go ahead, Kev.
Okay. Dessert.
Yeah, but are those the same spelling?
Same spelling, I think, but the stress should be different.
Yeah, well, actually, those two they actually are not the same spelling,
Oh,
right?
really?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
it's a great question, right? So dessert is D-E-S-S-E-R-T. That's something you eat after your dinner. And desert, like the sandy place, is just one S, D-E-S-E-R-T, right? So there's a little bit of a difference there. And because the stress is different, Ken, it's going to have a different pronunciation as well, right? It's not going to have the same pronunciation, unfortunately. So we need to be aware of that, right? Let me help you guys. I think you guys are thinking way too hard about this, right? What about bat and bat, right? One you use for baseball, the other is the animal that flies, right? So same pronunciation, bat, bat, different meaning, right? But the same spelling, right? So that's another example, bat and bat, right? Can anyone give me one more? Jacqueline, maybe you're thinking of one?
No, I can't think of any.
Yeah, that's why this class is a little complicated. It's better when we have a lot more students, right? And I'm glad you guys are here. But one more, guys, one more. Pretty please, 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 please. Just let's think of one more example. Think about these short words, guys, like bat, right? You don't even think about them, but they're examples of homonyms, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh no. So it has to be like the same spelling, but it can be like on a different pronunciation, right?
No, it has to be the same pronunciation as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, it's got to have these two things, and it has to have same spelling, right? So, guys, let's skip over this one. I think bat and can is good for this example, right? Maybe it's a little crazy right now, and sometimes it's difficult to think of these examples, right? Let's just go to the bottom of this sheet here, and let's go to homographs, okay? I want to briefly go over this as well. Homographs, guys, are words that have the same spelling, but a different meaning. Okay, so that's all homographs have those two categories: same spelling, different meaning, right? Some of them have a different pronunciation, which makes them heteronyms. Other ones have the same pronunciation, which makes them just normal homographs, non-heteronym homographs, right? I would say. So when we look at this example, right, non-heteronym homographs, right, we see same spelling, different meaning, and same pronunciation, right? Same spelling, different meaning, but the same pronunciation. So I wrote, for example, fan versus fan, right? One is, for example, a football fan, right? He goes crazy about football. The second one is the machine that you use when it's hot, right, to cool yourself. So different meaning, same spelling, and the same pronunciation, right? Can anybody think of another example of this category right here? Non-heteronym homograph. Needs to have
Bow,
these three things. Yeah, go ahead, Jacqueline.
bow, and a bow.
Do those have the same spelling?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Could you spell those out, actually, Jacqueline? I'm gonna
Like
see. Uh-huh.
bow, like what you call this? Like you bow. It's like an
Like a,
expression for Japanese people, like you bow to your elderly or when you
uh-huh.
show respect,
Yeah.
and then a bow for like the neck.
Mm-hmm.
Do I make sense?
Yeah, no, it does make sense, but I'm thinking about for the neck one, is it like when you wear a bow tie? Are you talking about
Yes.
that?
Yes.
So it's actually pronounced a little differently, right? Unfortunately,
Oh,
Jacqueline,
okay.
because one of them is bow, the other one's bow, right? But you're on the
Yeah.
right track, right? You're on the right track. But what you gave me actually, Jacqueline, was an example of something that has different pronunciation, right? Different meaning, but the same spelling. So you actually gave me a heteronym,
Oh, okay.
right? Which is still great. I mean, some of these words, when we think about them, I see that they might not fit the one box I asked, but it's still good because we're
Mm-hmm.
thinking of another one. So yeah, you actually found the hardest one on the list, Jacqueline. That's really great. A heteronym, right? Bow versus bow, right? Fantastic. Um, so Ken is saying tear or tear. Which one are you saying, Ken?
I thought it's the same pronunciation but different.
It is, unfortunately, right? So you gave me you gave us another example of a heteronym, right? Yeah, tear versus tear, right? Guys, this one is not that bad. You guys are thinking way too hard, right? So same pronunciation, same spelling, right? Fan and fan, right? I said earlier, for example, bat and bat also works, right? We can think about, let's see, what other ones are there? Can and can, right? If you guys look at it a little bit more closely, this group, right, same spelling, different meaning, same pronunciation, is actually identical to this group, right? Which actually is very
Mm-hmm.
surprising for me. I
Yeah.
don't know why we have two doubles in that sense in English. I'm gonna have to check if I made a mistake or not. But okay, we have to. Guys, do you guys feel comfortable with this, with the ideas that are on this page? Sometimes I think it's a little bit confusing to think about them, but do we have any questions about the actual groups themselves? Except for this one right here that I noticed, this group and this group looks exactly the same. That's what I'm a little concerned by that. Maybe somebody made a mistake in the lesson plan, right? But really, the big idea is that in English, when we see words that are pronounced or spelled differently, they could also have a change in meaning, right? So we need to be very careful of that whenever we speak or when we use a word that has another that's spelled the same way, right? We have to be careful about how we use what we use, right? That's really the main message. That's really the main message from this article, right? So let me go back to my screen, guys, so you guys can see me. Any questions, guys, about that at all? Things that we went over? Just finding examples, guys, honestly, is the most difficult thing.
No question.
No questions? All right, guys. There's no grammar in this. We're not going to be looking at too much grammar. Just looking at these word groups. So now that we don't have questions, guys, let's actually move on to the article, right? And let's see what we can learn from this article. And today's article, we're actually going to be focusing on an interesting international piece of news that we have a lot of people. Actually, I hope the article link opens. One sec here. The Belgian Prime Minister, right, or the Belgian government, this very European country that has so much going on, and they just want, all of this wealth or whatever. We're going to be looking at the Belgian king, right? The Belgian king and the Belgian people. There's this kind of disconnect between the two groups. I'm trying to open up this article, guys. One sec. I'm just going to find it on Google. The link seems to be dead. Okay, one sec. What do we know about Belgium, guys? What is this country, Belgium, famous for?
Waffle.
Yeah, Belgian waffles.
I like it. I love it.
Chocolates.
Chocolate as well, right? Fantastic, right? What else, Rafael?
I think it's the most important production is chocolate, as Jacqueline said. This is the most interesting and tasteful chocolate in the world, I heard.
Yeah, there's a lot of chocolate and there's a lot of good food, So let's look at this article now, guys. Here's the article, right? And we're going to talk about the Belgian king, okay? This guy who is, he's a king. I mean, guy's not poor. He wants more money from the government because he can't live on his pension that they're giving him, right? Unfortunately, poor guy, he's a king, right? Should he get more money? Should he not get more money? We'll take a look and see. So there's the article, guys. Let me quickly screen share, and we will see what is going on here. And let's see. So, oh, not this. Let's see. Okay. So we see this is Los Angeles Times, right? It says, unfit for a king, retired Belgian royal struggling on $1.2 million, right? So, guys, also, the other thing I wanted to mention to you guys is anytime you have any questions about anything that we talk about, please don't hesitate to let me know, okay? Please stop me and say, hey, I don't understand something, right? Because we're going to be looking at maybe some difficult vocabulary words, so we need that help, right? So unfit for a king, retired Belgian royal struggling on $1.2 million. This right here is the king. I believe this is the queen, right? So with 4 lavish homes, okay, with 4 lavish homes and a fuel-guzzling yacht to maintain, retired Belgian king Albert II is reportedly finding it difficult to get by on his royal pension of $1.2 million a year, right? Granted, he took a big pay cut when he abdicated in July, passing on the $15 million plus stipend for the ruling monarch to his son and successor, Philippe. Right? Any questions, guys, about these 2 paragraphs? What are they talking about?
Lavish.
Yeah, lavish. Ken, that's a great question. Lavish is another word for luxurious.
Oh, okay.
Something that is lavish, something that's very luxurious, has a lot of stuff in it, right? So he has 4 lavish homes, and he also has a fuel-guzzling yacht, right? What does that mean, a fuel-guzzling yacht? What's a yacht?
Yacht is a type of ship.
Yeah, it's like a boat. It's like bigger than a boat, but smaller than a ship, right? It's like very rich people, they have yachts. They're like homes on the ocean, right? So he has a yacht, and it's a fuel-guzzling yacht. What does fuel-guzzling mean?
It means it consumes a lot of fuel.
Exactly, absolutely right, Jacqueline. Right, something that guzzles, is something that consumes, right? So a fuel guzzling yacht consumes a lot of fuel, right? So he has a lot of expenses, poor guy, right? Poor guy. I feel bad for him. $1.2 million, that's nothing. Come on. That's nothing, right? So we'll take a look at that, right? And then, but times are tough in the kingdom, right? But times are tough in the kingdom. And Albert's back channel approaches to the government for a bigger allowance have been spurned. The newspapers Le Soir and the Standard reported Thursday, right? I'm just making fun of French, guys. I don't know how to pronounce this, right? But Le Soir and the Standard reported on Thursday, right? So times are tough, you know, and he wanted a bigger allowance. He wants a bigger allowance. What is an allowance, guys?
It's similar to, I think, to the payroll for a king, or the how much it earned in a month, or similar to payroll, I think.
Absolutely right, Raphael. Yeah, similar, very similar to the idea of a payroll. And allowance is a payment that you receive on a regular basis, right? Could be yearly, could be monthly, right? So he wants a bigger allowance, right? And one thing I forgot to mention, guys, is he actually abdicated in July, right? What does the word abdicated mean, or to the verb abdicate? What does that mean?
Maybe resign?
Yeah, absolutely correct, right, Ken? So when we speak about kings, we use abdicated. When we talk about presidents, we say resign, right? So kings, because they're kings, they have a different verb, right? Abdicated. So he actually resigned in July. He left, and he gave his. When he was a king, he got $15 million a year, but now his son gets that, right? Philippe gets that, and he has just 1.2, right? So now he wants a little bit more money, right? French language, Le Soir, cited unidentified sources as saying the former monarch would like the state to cover the upkeep on his main residence, Belvedere Castle, north of Brussels. It also said the king's intermediaries had floated the idea of government funds for his yacht, or to have the Royal Navy take over its crewing, fueling, and repairs. Right? A little bit longer paragraph, guys. But what's going on in this paragraph? What are they saying?
Maybe he want to be take care of his yacht by Navy.
Yeah, so that was really the big part in the last sentence, right? He's saying his intermediaries, right? His intermediaries. What is an intermediary, guys?
Intermediaries is related, could be about people who is between you and your suppliers, or your people who could assist you in making things or fixing things.
Absolutely correct, Raphael. Absolutely correct. An intermediary, guys, is a go-between. We say this word a lot in English. A go-between. You know, intermediary is the same as a middleman. Right? Who's the middleman? Who's the go-between? So the king, he's a king. He's not going to talk to me or you. He's a king, right? He has his intermediaries tell different parts of the government what he wants, right? So his intermediaries floated the idea, you know, considered the idea, floated in this case, since they're talking about a ship, this person is being creative in his writing, right? They floated the idea, they considered the idea of having the government, the Navy, take care of his yacht. Right? And also, right, he wanted to ask the state to cover the upkeep on his main residence, Belvedere Castle. What does it mean when we say to cover the upkeep?
Maybe maintain? He wants to maintain.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, cover the upkeep. The upkeep, guys, whenever we say that something needs upkeep or something requires upkeep, we are saying maintenance, right? We need maintenance for something, right? So the state, he wants the state to cover the upkeep for his main residence. I mean, it's just one castle, guys. Seriously, come on, Raphael. If you had a castle, I would come and help you clean it, right? I mean, it's just one castle, right? He's not asking for a lot, guys. $1.2 million is not that much, okay? It's not. It's really. I mean, if you gave me $1.2 million, I would have no idea what to do with that little money,
But
right?
he was used to spend more than $50 million, if I understood properly, before the abdication.
You did,
No?
yeah. You did understand it correctly, right? But 15 million is a normal amount, right, Raphael? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I
Well,
understand.
absolutely. For me, if you give me 1.2 million, that's nothing. I have that in my pocket right now, Raphael, actually.
Mhm.
You know, so unfortunately, guys, it's
On the-
tough to
On
yeah.
the line, if I may, um, at least in my country, also is a kingdom, the royal family spent more money than this guy every year in yachts, big houses, palace. It's amazing.
Uh-huh.
And the family and the relatives are growing up, and there are more of them every year, and
Uh-huh.
it's amazing. We are supporting them with our
Yeah.
taxes. It's very
Yeah.
similar.
They're your kings, though, right? I mean, Raphael, they're your kings. You have to love them. You have to support them, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's the duty of the state, right? Without the king, you have nothing, right?
Mhm.
That's why the name of this class is For King and Country, right? So that's why, you know, I think the king is actually doing a good thing, right? So on the floor of Parliament, right? On the floor of their Parliament, news of the 79-year-old royal's plight, right, was met with mockery and derision by representatives of Belgians, struggling with nearly 8% unemployment and a $17 billion budget deficit, right? So what is, guys, this is a paragraph with a lot of big words, right? Royal plight. What is plight? What does plight mean?
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, the 79-year-old royal's plight, right? Plight, guys, I'm going to help you guys out with this one. Plight means suffering or problem, right? So the 79-year-old royal's problem, right, when it was introduced in the main parliament, right, was met with mockery and derision. What does mockery mean and what does derision mean? Jacqueline, I think you might know what mockery means. What's mockery?
Something mockery, like something to insult.
Yeah,
Or
right. What word do we see in mockery actually, Jacqueline? That's a good hint for us. We see the word mock, right?
yes.
And when you mock somebody, you're making fun of them, right? You're insulting them. So
Yeah.
look at these disobedient Belgians, guys. Look at these impolite Belgians, right? As soon as they heard about this old man, 79-year-old guy, I mean, come on, he's a king. He's a king. They started insulting him. They said, how can we have this when our country has 8% unemployment and a $17 billion budget deficit, right? I mean, come on, they're not comparing apples to oranges, right? The king is the king is the king is the king, right? He does not have the problems with the government. He's still the king. They should respect him, I think, right? So they're saying during such a crisis, he gets 3 times more than President Obama, right? Said Barbara Pass of the anti-monarchy Flemish Interest Party, according to an account of the parliamentary discussion by the Associated Press. Can you imagine 3 vacation homes, one in Paris, one in Rome, and one on the French Riviera, and you have to do the upkeep? Independent lawmaker Jean-Marie Dedeker said with feigned horror, and you have to get there yourself without an army plane taking you there. How bad is that, Prime Minister? Right. So what's going on here, guys? What are these people saying? Are they happy with the king or are they upset with the king? These 3 paragraphs, actually.
The paragraph are telling us that it's amazing that and so disgusting for the people to spend so much money when the country is having more than a rate of 8% unemployment and also have a budget deficit from more than 70 billion euros. It's amazing, and they are claiming to them, claiming to this situation.
People seem to be pretty unhappy, right? I mean, Ken, would you agree with with Raphael, or would you say that people are maybe thinking differently?
I think people, many people, think the same way here, and as well as Spain, and they spend a lot of, budget from our tax, and the problem is there's no clear checking kind of thing. Japanese media almost like a censorship kind of thing, and it's one of the taboo to report about royal family thing. They always said something
As it
good
as
in
it should
Japanese
be.
newspaper.
As it should be, Ken, right? As it should be. The royals are near God in my book, right? I'm just a normal person, right? But yeah, go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry.
But I don't believe such a thing. We are living in a democratic world. It's not democracy at all. And our constitution, admit freedom of expression. I think it's such kind of sense. Actually, it's kind of mass media didn't, maybe admit, but it's almost like a censorship kind of inside mass
Yeah,
media. They
a
just
lot.
say something nice for royal families.
Yeah, I was obviously being facetious. I was just making fun as well with you guys. I agree 100% with you guys, right? I mean, this is ridiculous, right? The fact that he wants this much money and all this kind of stuff. I was just playing an act, right? But this is so similar in so many countries in the world, right? So we actually have Hormuz is also from a kingdom. Ken is from an empire, I guess, or not really an empire, but has an emperor, right, in his country. And Raphael, you have a king, right? So it's very interesting. We have three people from three different parts of the world who are living under monarchies, right? And it's something that we see, just the last thing I want to mention is the socialist prime minister in Belgium, right? So this guy is the prime minister, Elio Di Rupo, was apparently unmoved, right? He was quoted by news media as vowing that the government does not intend to change a comma of the royal compensation program, right? What a powerful phrase by this guy, right? The government does not intend to change even a comma of the royal compensation program, So is the prime minister on the king's side or is he on everybody else's side?
He's on the king's side.
Really, Jacqueline? If he says the government does not intend to change a comma of the royal compensation program, so what does this main line mean, Jacqueline? Let's actually focus on this one.
Well, because I'm actually focusing on the word change, and when I see the word comma, I'm actually thinking about the rules that's written with how the rules are set up on that specific country. And with those words alone, I can see that he will not bend or he will not change any details about how the retired king will be paid with his compensation or with his retirement thing or whatnot.
Fantastic. You have the idea 100% correct, right? But then what does that mean, Jacqueline, that he's supporting the king or he's supporting everyone who's saying enough is enough?
Let me go back on that.
Sure. No. I think you have exactly the right idea, but I think we're saying he is against the king, right? He doesn't want the king. Yeah, absolutely. So he's not on the same side as the king, right? Even the prime minister is not on the same side as the king. The prime minister is supporting everybody else who's saying that this is not true, right? So I mean, it's not right. So we are. I wanted to take some time, guys, and focus. I wanted to take some time, guys, and focus on this, right? Ask you some questions, right? So unfortunately, out of the four people, I think Hormuz had to leave. Out of the four people, Jacqueline and I come from democracies that are ruled by presidents. Sometimes I think for the United States, very corrupt presidents. I can't speak about Philippines, honestly, but sometimes, Jacqueline, I feel that our presidents act like kings. Not Obama. Obama's a little bit better, but sometimes our presidents do act like kings, right? In many parts of the world. And we have two people from monarchies, right? We've got two people from Japan, Ken, and we also have Raphael from Spain, right? So I wanted to ask you guys, right? My first main question to each of you was, should the king receive this money he's asking for? Whose side do you take? Raphael, we heard a lot from you during the article. Do you think the king should get more money?
Are you asking if the kings deserve more money than this?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I put on their shoes, I think the king and the queen are thinking they need so much money, because it is not enough to support only 1.2 billion, 2 million euros for a year. We are suffering in my country the same situation. 25 years ago, the King of Spain, he was only him and the Queen and two sons. Also, his son is called Felipe, like Belgian Queen. But now they are 4 sons, 2 daughters, with a lot of relatives in there, and also the nephews and the grandchilds of them, and we are supporting them. Also, there is another point. There are a lot of corruption surrounding this family, because one of the stepson has involved in one amazing and horrible situation of corruption here. He was Iñaki Urdangarin. He was stealing a lot of money from the people, making lobbies for stole the money of the people, and it was incredible. It's a horrible situation. The kingdom right now in my country, and I think in every country. This is an old-fashioned. I'm finishing. I think it's an old-fashioned situation to have kingdoms in democracies. Like if we are children, we need a father. But I hope the situation hopefully change in the next few years. I hope. That's all.
No, Rafael, that's great. I apologize for having to cough in the middle. I think something's coming down here. It's a little bit colder than usual. But yeah, I think, Rafael, you summed up a lot of great points. A lot of great points. Yeah, claps, everybody, claps. Come on, let's do it. Right?
Be careful. They are hearing us.
Hey, what about I'm hearing you? I'm an agent of the Spanish government, Rafael. You didn't know that.
Thank you.
I just joke. But it's very, very true. Very, very true, right? And we have these cases all over the world. And Jacqueline, what's your perspective? Coming from a democracy, right? Yeah, president. What do you think, Jacqueline? Do you support Rafael, or do you think that wouldn't it be nice if the Philippines had a king, the king of the Philippines, right? How cool does that sound, Jacqueline?
Well, coming from a different type of government, I don't have a lot of things to say for this kind of topic. But if Rafa would allow me, I would just like to borrow his words. Like, if I am gonna put myself in that prime minister's shoe, well, the first rule that I have whenever I encounter any responsibility or whatnot is, I always ask for what is only allowed for me. Like, I don't ask too much, or even if I want to ask something, I make sure that I'm actually giving something in return. But with this situation wherein you're already retired and you have given what you can do for that government or for that responsibility, I think the compensation or like the negotiation for the compensation stops there. You also have to give others a chance, and for that money to grow and to move to other people's hands.
Well, as a personal intermediary of King, whatever his name is, King. What's this guy's name? King Albert, right? As a personal intermediary for him, Jacqueline, I respectfully disagree, because the king has given so much to Belgium over his 79 years as a human being on this glorious earth, right? That he deserves to be rewarded for 79 years of service, Jacqueline.
So wouldn't he be rewarded with those time that he was doing the task that he was supposed to do?
Well, he enjoyed the past, but he also needs to enjoy the present, I think.
So if we're gonna have that kind of system, then what will happen to those other people who would like to take advantage or who would also have the situation in the future?
Well, if they're common people, then they should work hard. They should do everything that common people do, but they should still have this respect and pride and annual payments to the king.
So like as a former king, you have the ability or you have that power to negotiate.
Seems like it. Seems like it. Jacqueline, I'm giving you a hard time, honestly.
I want to live there. I'm gonna live there.
Yeah,
I'll be the queen.
it's crazy. It's crazy. The situation is mind-boggling, you know, honestly, when you think about it. Like, this guy actually has the nerve to go to Parliament, right, and ask for more money, right? In a country, Europe is blowing up right now. I mean, you have austerity measures in Spain. You have economic meltdown in, you know, Greece. You know, the European Union is not doing very well right now. You know, if this happened in America, right,
Wow.
we would have a revolution. Like, we would just like
Yeah.
we would destroy the government. You know, everyone would just. I mean, some countries or some states have had issues with, you know, finance. For example, California right now actually is one of the states that has a lot of financial problems. Right, if a government official, an elected government official, somebody who was actually voted in, said something like this, they would be impeached like overnight. You know, it would be, you know, political suicide to say something like this. But in a monarchy, the beauty is they're not elected, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, because
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, who votes for the king? Raphael, did you vote for your king?
No.
Yeah, Raphael, I don't think he voted for
No,
his
no,
king.
no, no, no.
Yeah,
That is the
yeah.
main difference. But I'm not agree with you because I think there are a lot of corruption case in the United States, if I may,
Oh yeah, there are.
and also the president of the parliament is involved in many situations under the table, but and nobody knows anything about it. If people knows anything, people are becoming more relaxing every day in every country. We are passive against the power of the president or of the press or the against the power of the politicians. We all together stand up against that kinds of governments, but in everywhere,
Revolution! Viva la
revolutionary.
revolution! No, you know, it's so true, Raphael. It's so true, right? In the United States, we have a system of private funding of politicians. Okay, it happens all the time. It's happening under the table every single day. Millions of, you know, dollars are being spent on lobbies, on elections, influencing politicians, right? Foreign policy, agriculture, educational policy, anything you can imagine, right? These private companies like Halliburton, right? There have been documentaries on Halliburton, this company that was managed by the former vice president. You know, after the war started in Iraq, Halliburton got a lot of the contracts to rebuild Iraq. So first you destroy the country and then you build it. You know, I mean, there are, I mean, multitudes of examples, guys, multitudes. America is as corrupt as any other country. It's just that here you don't hear about it because it's all happening under the table. And because I work for the NSA, you guys will all get arrested. I was fast. I'm just joking, guys. Okay, I like to joke. First, I was an agent of Albert. Now I'm an agent of the NSA. I'm just shifting all these ideas, right? Ken, last but not least, what is your take on this?
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think, you know, this monarch system is old-fashioned. It cannot be fit to the democratic system, and you know, the democratic concept everywhere can be equal. But this king, clearly monarch or royal families are not equal. They are not included citizens, and in this case, maybe I think if he have to spend a lot of money to maintain the castle or yacht. You know, government take care of it instead of it. Maybe he abandoned his kind of ownership of for the castle or yacht. I think that's a reasonable solution for him.
Well, you know, oh, I was just gonna say, Ken, you know, I think that there are actually, we can retain kings, right? Because honest, this is me being serious. Okay, I'm not being like the crazy NSA guy now, right? To be honest with you, when we talk about, for example, kings and queens, right? This kind of thing, royal families, if you look at the history of Japan, for example, the longest dynasty in the world, right? The longest royal dynasty. So it's a source of pride for the Japanese people to say they have an emperor. They have an emperor that has gone.
No, I
Really?
don't have any pride of that kind of system.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm very surprised.
Old-fashioned system.
See, I was under a different impression. But
maybe some crazy people might say so because every country has a very right-wing nationalist type person.
Uh-huh.
I don't like them actually.
Yeah. So,
And usually they are very exclusive for foreign people or foreign, they
groups and things
always
like that.
criticize her kind of
Uh-huh.
bad comment for the foreign people. Or
But but
I don't like them.
but even thinking about it from a non-partisan standpoint, right? I'm gonna just be very non-partisan. I'm not taking any sides, right? Looking at, when we see the history of a country like Spain conquered half the world, right? I mean, that Spanish kingdom is still continuing to in its modern form. Of course, it's more modern, it's more whatever, it's more luxurious maybe. Or actually, in the past, I think it was much more luxurious. Now, if anything, they're controlled because of democracy, right? But when it comes to maintaining royal families and things like that, can it be done with control? Right? Can we just say, like, the government limits the budget that they can spend, right? You still have them, but you can't tax them, or they can't just spend their money on whatever. They have to submit receipts. They cannot just buy whatever they want, and they have to be accountable to the people, right? And the media can report on them, right? If we have some of these rules, like, we make a negotiation with these royal families all over the world, or maybe in Belgium or in Spain, right? They can say, okay, you can have your castle, but just one castle. Got to get rid of the 3 homes in Rome, Milan, whatever, and then, with controls, right? Submit receipts. If you go buy something on Amazon, I need that receipt. I mean, yeah, it's is that an alternative, guys? Instead of saying destroy the monarchy, viva la revolución, we don't want crazy stuff, right? To maintain that, is it possible to do that with some kind of control? What do you think, Rafael?
You are telling pretty well. Right now, with the democracy, the kingdoms and the royal family are under control, but nobody knows how much they spend. Nobody knows how much commissions from another business, for example, a petrol business. They are from Morocco to Italy to here in Spain. There are a lot of business, a lot of money under the table with petrol administration, and nobody knows where this money goes. It's amazing, but also the media doesn't realize what happened with this money under the table. The control of these people is at least impossible, in my opinion.
Is the media, a quick question, Rafael, is it illegal for the media in Spain to report negatively on the royal family?
Yeah, we have every kind of right, but there are also a type of secrecy between them and with the people. Nobody knows what happened. Kingdoms are so old-fashioned, in my opinion.
I can definitely see that. Awesome. Thank you, Rafael, for that assessment once again. It's really good to hear you guys talk about this. There's a lot of passion in this room, I'm like Che Guevara, revolution, but some of you guys, I'm just messing. So, Jacqueline, what about you? What do you think about this idea? Can monarchies exist with limits and with controls, or is that a dream that's not going to become reality?
Well, I really can't say a lot of matter on those topics because first I'm not really aware how a monarchy government operates or whatnot. But the thing that I know when it comes to politics is those people who are under the government doesn't really know a lot about what's happening. Those that are seen on the media are just like really the facade of what's really happening, but like the root of this cause is not really open to the public, just like with what's happening in the Philippines. So when it comes to control, we really can't say how much control can be offered or can be proposed to the government. So I think what I'm just saying is I don't trust the government, whether if it's monarchy or whatever type of government.
Yeah, people in positions of power are going to try to hide something, right?
I know.
It's just the way it is, guys. I think it's human nature, or maybe from Star Wars. I think one of the Jedi Masters said that, "What is one lesson you learn, Anakin? Anybody with power wants more power." right? I mean, I don't know. I take references from Star Wars. I take references from everything, right? But it's true, when we have these movies and these other society, society relies on people to speak up for the truth. But
Yes.
when it's being controlled from the top down or through many kinds of controls, it's difficult to get that truth, right? Last but not least, Ken, what is your opinion on the idea of making a negotiation, making a compromise with monarchies and saying limited or control, we will control you pretty severely, right? I want to see receipts. You go to McDonald's, why'd you buy that Big Mac? I told you can only buy a $1 meal, right? I say, what about, do you think that's a possibility, or do you think it's not going to happen?
I think it will happen in the future, and because many people feel the same way actually. But the problem is, media don't report such kind of thing, and no checking, organization exist. So people don't know that even the basic information to negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, because nobody knows what's happening, right?
yeah,
No one has the
and
numbers.
another problem, such kind of right-wing, crazy nationalists always try to use emperor system or emperor himself to approach to promote their exclusive idea.
Mm-hmm.
Japan is the best. We are the best, and we are the great. Or how can I be interested in such a narcissistic people?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that gave the foreign people bad image of Japan. So and I don't like such people's attitudes too,
Mm-hmm. They're in the
as well
minority,
as the
though.
monarchy system.
But I think they're in the minority, Ken. I think in Japan, I
Yeah,
haven't.
minority, but on the internet, somebody, such small minority group can be powerful at some side of the internet.
A very loud minority,
Yeah,
right?
and as a result of it, hate speech demonstration happened in Japan, in Tokyo.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's sad to see.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, this was I really enjoyed this class, especially because we have so many good perspectives, and from people who live in monarchies now, I think it was great. We looked at, guys, a quick recap: homonyms, homographs, heteronyms, and heterographs, right? When we looked at those different types of ideas. And actually, I'm sorry, homophones, homonyms, homographs, and heteronyms, right? So just those word groups. If you guys want me to send you that document that I used, I'm going to make sure it's correct. I'm going to look at the lesson plan. Feel free, you guys are always welcome. Find me on Facebook, whatever. Jacqueline, it's nice to see you being on Colingo. I hope you guys enjoyed the class. Before I head out, I have another class in an hour. You guys are free to join that. But any questions about any things we talked about in this class, any topics, anything you guys want to say? I mean, like, I can stick around. Want to talk about revolution, monarchy?
Very nice class.
Awesome. Thank you, Raphael. Appreciate it. Jacqueline or Ken, any questions?
No.
None.
Awesome.
Nice discussion. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you guys are welcome so much. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys soon. In an hour, I have another class. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later.
Right.
Awesome.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Take care. Hey,
Hey,
how's
how
it
are
going? Good. Great. Fantastic.
Good.
Good to see you again, then.
Good to see you too.
Let's see who else is here. Hey, awesome. Hey, Jacqueline, how's it going?
Hi, everybody.
Welcome.
Hey, Jacqueline. I believe this is your first time in my class. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, first timer.
Fantastic. Where are you from?
I'm from the Philippines.
Philippines. Nice. That's really cool. How long have you been on Colingo?
Just this morning.
Just this morning. Wow, fantastic. Welcome. It's great to see that. I know it's probably late evening in the Philippines right now, right?
Yeah, it's like 10 in the evening, but it's not that late.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Yeah, 10 in the evening is going to be... Yeah, we are 6 in the morning here.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'm just 8 hours ahead. If you cross the Pacific, you'll find me in your first time in my class as well. Where are you from?
Yes, the first time. I'm from Jordan.
Jordan, awesome, fantastic. We have a lot of Jordanian students. It's great, it's great. And how long have you been studying on Colingo, Mustafa?
Actually, the voice is not very good. I cannot hear you.
Uh-huh.
Fine.
I was saying how long have you been studying on Colingo?
Sorry?
How long have you been studying on Colingo?
My first day, the second lesson.
Oh wow, fantastic. So we have Jacqueline and Mustafa. You guys are both brand new then to Colingo. That's great.
You.
That's awesome. Well, welcome,
Uh-huh.
welcome. Just to give you a little background about me, Mustafa. I was just explaining it to Jacqueline. I'm 24. My name is Farhan. I'm 24, and I live in the U.S. and I'm in California, but I live in Wisconsin. And actually, I forgot to tell you too, Jacqueline. I've been teaching on Colingo for about 3 months now. I started in, actually no, 4 months. I started in July, like end of July. So it's been about on the West Coast. So yeah,
All right.
that's awesome. And yeah, how do you like your first day?
Well, it's kind of nice. It's really good. I had sessions with Sikara. I forgot her name. I'm sorry. And then just a while back with Joe, and it was nice. I like the participants that I was with earlier, and the experience was really nice. It's really more of an interactive training, or like an education online in English, and it's good.
Phenomenal, phenomenal. No, that's really awesome. The fact that you're here, and I think your English is really good already. And this class you joined an advanced class, so I think it's going to be right at the level that you want in order to get more of that, conversational experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I just wanted to give you a brief intro of me then, because I just interrogated you. My name is Farhan. I live in the United States. I'm 24 years old. I'm in California now, but I actually live in Wisconsin, which is about, no one really knows where that is. Wisconsin is close to Chicago. Hey, Humud, how's it going? So it's about 2 hours north of Chicago, but I would rather stay somewhere warm during the winter, so I just came to California. I just drove across the country a week ago and decided to be here with my friends. So, yeah,
Nice.
it's really cool. But yeah, I'm sure I'll get to learn a lot about the Philippines. I think you are actually my first Filipino student.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So you have a special place in that sense.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And let's see, we have a few other people. Hey, Raphael, how's it going, man?
Hi, what's up?
Good,
Perfect.
good. Not much.
Nice to be in
Yesterday,
class.
Raphael, the internet connection was horrible in that second
I
class.
am.
I could never get back. Humud, I think you were there also, right? So the internet
Yeah.
completely just destroyed like my experience because it just wasn't coming back.
Don't worry
So
about it.
yeah, hopefully we don't have that same issue today. Yeah. And I believe maybe your name is Mustafa. How are you?
Yes. Hi. How are you?
Good, good, good. So I think Mustafa, I think this is